So in my last video, I said it's warm enough to do the videos outside. Well, so in my last video, I talked about fear and overcoming fear. So this is kind of going to be part 2. So anyways, I mentioned that energy follows thought. And another way to put it is where attention goes, energy flows. So I made a video about fear and overcoming fear, and not to fear dying, but fear not living. So that was where my focus and my attention was. Well, that night I had a dream. In fact, I had 2 dreams, 2 nights in a row related to that, because that's where my attention was. And so it revealed some things to me in my life just because I put my attention on it. So the first dream, let's get into it. The first dream was me. I was climbing up a building of some kind, like a house with a gable end on it. And that's the pointed end, if you're not aware of what a gable is. And it was some kind of a ladder that was attached to the house, sort of, kind of. You know how dreams are. And there was 2 people behind me that I knew, but I don't recognize in waking life. Anyways, I was almost at the very top, and it's like reaching up to the pinnacles to touch it, and then I was going to step up another step, so I could say, hey, I made it to the peak, right? And right when I was about to do that, the guy down below me, he starts shaking the ladder and pushing it kind of away from the house, right? Which scares me, okay? Fear comes up. And I tell him, hey, knock it off, because I really don't like it. And he's laughing like it's a big joke, right? And I'm starting to get angry at him. And so I tell him, hey, if you don't knock it off, I'm going to come down and kick your ass. And he keeps doing it and laughing. And I tell him that again, and then I count to 3. I tell him, I'm going to count to 3. And if you don't stop, I'm going to come down there and kick your ass. So he keeps doing it, and I drop down from the top a couple rungs on the ladder and try to kick him as soon as my foot's close enough. And then I wake up. And so I've done a bit of dream interpretation in the past. And so usually when I have a dream like this, and I remembered it really well, and usually when you remember your dreams, it's some kind of a message from God or your higher self, however you perceive that. Anyways, as I'm contemplating it the next day, I realize, well, that's a perfect example of letting fear stop me from reaching the pinnacle. I'm working on a business, and I've been a little bit frustrated with it, and I had a major setback. Anyways, so I realized that that's telling me, hey, you still have some hidden fears that are holding you back, and you're letting your fear get the better of you, So I should have just kept going and grabbed the top and hung on, and then I wouldn't have to worry about falling or anything like that. So that was a very symbolic dream for me. And I thought, oh, wow, okay. So in meditation, I started asking, what are my hidden fears? What am I fearing? And some answers came to me, and I'll get into that in a little bit. But then again, the next night, I had another dream. And in that dream, I'm driving in a car with my wife and my mother-in-law and a stepmother-in-law and my daughter and a couple other people who, of course, I don't remember who they are. And we're like leaving this big event of some sort, and I'm kind of in a parking lot, and I'm driving and I'm looking for a way to get back out to the highway. And I come across this dirt road that goes up the hill to the highway. And it seems kind of steep, but I decide to go for it, right? And so I'm driving up that hill, and it gets right near the top, and it's really steep, and I'm like, I'm not sure if we're going to make it. Okay, and then I'm thinking, well, gee, the grandmas must be really scared. Anyways, so I stop before I get to the top and kind of slide sideways back down the hill. And I'm a little scared. I'm like thinking maybe that's worse than that. I'm just going for it to the top, right? Anyways, I get about a quarter of the way down the hill and go, oh, this isn't so bad. And I turn around and start driving back down the hill and looking for a way out. And I'm driving on all these roads, and I never do find a way out before I wake up. And I'm thinking, wow, I woke up in the morning And actually, I was kind of semi-lucid before I woke up, and it hit me too that, hey, this is another dream telling me that I'm letting my fears keep me from reaching the top. I should have just went for it, right? And so I thought, wow, that's like two witnesses. If you're familiar with biblical scripture at all, which I'm very familiar with, it says in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses shall all things be established. Anyways, I realized that that's telling me the same message as the previous dream the night before. So 2 dreams in a row. So I'm kind of excited, okay, because now I'm like, okay, hey, I'm getting a message here that I'm letting my fears hold me back. So what are those fears, right? What are those hidden fears? And it's like I said in the past video, and if you haven't watched that video, go watch it first, and you'll understand this better. But in that past video, I said we have all kinds of fears, and some of them we're not even aware of, or we're vaguely aware of. So I started asking, and this is what I would tell people to do: ask in prayer or in meditation. And I think they are one and the same myself, but however you interpret it, ask for some help, and usually it'll become revealed to you one way or another. And I do meditation regularly. And I've taken spells though where I've stopped doing it, but I know consistency is the key. So I woke up the next morning, and I was thinking about this, thinking, oh, okay, I'm getting a message here. Well, and then I was thinking, well, maybe I'll have to wait till the next night, see if I dream again for a third witness. And I thought, no, I can just do some meditation this morning and make my intent to find out what those fears are and what the solution is. So what's the solution, okay? So I went into meditation with that intent. And there's different ways to meditate. I even have an older video on here of how to do that if you're interested in that. Otherwise, you can just go on YouTube, and there's dozens of ways to do it, and find something that seems to work for you. But anyways, during meditation, several answers came to me, and the solution came as clear as a bell. And of course, I already knew the solution. I've even preached it or taught it in the past. And the solution is to take action. Action overcomes fear every time, every single time. And the key is to take action in spite of your fear. So I let my fears stop me from reaching the top in these 2 dreams, right? Whereas I should have just continued on even though I was scared. So action in spite of fear is really the solution. And I came up with several ideas and things, what is it that I fear if I reach the top will happen? And one of the big things is change. If you have success in something, especially like financial success, which is one of the things I'm working towards, it can change your life and your relationships. And so I thought, well, gee, am I afraid of losing like my relationship with my wife and family and loved ones? And that's a fear. That may be a minor fear, but you never know how things can change. And the other thing is fear of failing. It's like, well, if I'm continuously working on it, I'm doing a good thing, right? But if I reach the top, then I'll be done. Things will change. And so maybe I shouldn't reach the top. Maybe I should just continue to work on it. It's the, what do you call it? It's a perpetuation of, it's making you always feel like you're doing something good. You're working towards the goal, but you never reach the goal. So because of your fears, there's other fears. And there's other hidden fears that I came up with too. So that's the key, my friends. The solution is to take action despite your fears or in spite of your fears. And ask. Ask in meditation and prayer, whatever it is that you do to get those kinds of answers. And I believe those answers come from your higher self or your divine side, so to speak. And if you believe it's from God or Jesus or whoever, that's fine. Or angels or guides. All of that, I believe, most of the time it's from your higher self, but I do believe that we have guides or angels, if you will, that help us out, that we're not even aware of most of the time, if at all. And like I said, we have all kinds of hidden fears and things. They may not be totally hidden, but they're not up front in our awareness, so to speak. Another one of those fears is worrying about what other people will think, family, friends, loved ones. And that could potentially change those relationships. And, one of the things, if you're on the journey to self-improvement, you may have lost some friends and family over that. and that can be rough. But if you want to have a new life, you got to change and start doing things differently. And change can be hard, and change can be scary. Another one is, okay, what if I do reach the top and then I fall back off of the top? You know, won't my friends and family and those who told me I shouldn't be doing that or I shouldn't waste my time laugh at me, that kind of thing. Again, that harks back to worrying about what others think. And I would have never thought that I was worried about what others think, because I'm kind of at a point and an age where it's like, you know, I really don't give a F if what somebody thinks consciously. But we have these subconscious things going on, subconscious programming, so on and so forth, that may be rearing its ugly head, so to speak. So those are some things to think about and to contemplate. And by the way, contemplation is also a form of meditation. You don't always have to go into a traditional meditative state. Just sitting and thinking, contemplating on stuff, that puts your attention on it, and that's when answers come. So again, where attention goes, energy flows. That's one of my favorite sayings, and you'll probably hear that a lot in my videos. If you like what you hear and you want to support this channel, please like and subscribe and hit that bell so that you can be notified when new videos come out. Anyways, so that's part 2 of overcoming your fear, and that's the solution, my friends.